What's up, Terry? How you feeling? Okay, does it sound good now? Are we good? I'm so sorry, y'all. I just knew we could make it work, but don't worry. I think we're back. Sound is good. All right. So Derek, I don't think I can add you. But okay, so here's the thing. Since you're here though, all right, so we'll just do something a little bit different. So I'm gonna ask you questions, and then I know typing is not great, but anyway. So tell us about your project. I'll just have you put it in the chat. Because I just want y'all to know who this man is. He's such an incredible, beautiful human being of light, right? I'm always inspired by him. All right, can y'all see that? So he's working in a studio in Boston to record a series of singles. You heard some of the music on Bandcamp and wanted to, let's see. And they wanted to work with you. Oh my God, I love that. The name of the studio is Plaid Dog. Okay. So, and how did they find you? How did they hear you? Can y'all see him in the chat too? Hopefully. Yes. Listen, we are going to work our way around this technology. It might be slow, but we will figure it out. You can teach an old dog new tricks. Anyway, oh, and Derek, so they heard you on Bandcamp. Could you put your Bandcamp info up so that people can go and check it out after the show? Yeah, so Derek and I met each other through a mutual friend, our friend Kevin Simmons, who is now living in Japan. Yeah, hey Carla, how you doing? So Carla, we are having technical difficulties, but we are working it out. So here's what I'm gonna do, Derek. I'm gonna ask you another question, and then just give you a chance to answer, and I'll sing a song in between, and we'll make this all work. So, what inspired you? Like, what are you inspired by? What made you want to do this record and do music again? Because I know for a while, you know, like the rest of us, you weren't doing music. You know, the thing about art, though, right, for all of us, is that, I mean, I've had moments, and it seems like every time I get ready to want to quit, somebody shows up and is like, no, sweetie, that's not the way. That it's not time for you to do that. It's time for you to continue, and maybe we should record. And this is how this always happens, and that's how I, you know, get inspired and figure out what the next thing is. Yeah. You know what? I do. Terry, I do always make it work. Because the thing is, you can't really get away from it. I mean, if you are given this gift, right? And I mean, I think some people do get away from it because it'll drive you crazy too, right? Some people have a really difficult time of it. And I mean, there have been those moments where I was like, why am I doing this for people who don't even appreciate me? I mean, I would probably do it in my own living room, as I have done for a long time, but the industry, dealing with people is never fun. So Derek said his song, Beginner's Heart, is the first single from the series. And I will have it posted on my page so you can hear it. When I wake up in the morning, love, and the sunlight hurts my eyes, and when something without warning, love, is weighing heavy on my mind, then I look at you, and the world's alright with me. Just one look at you, and I know it's gonna be a lovely day. When the day that lies ahead of me seems impossible to take, and when someone else instead of me always seems to know the way, then I look at you, and the world's alright with me. Oh, just one look at you, and I know it's gonna be a lovely, lovely day, a lovely day, lovely day, a lovely day, a lovely day, a lovely, lovely day, lovely day, lovely day, lovely day. So Derek, tell us what inspires you and what inspires you every day. Just put it in the chat and I'll keep playing till you answer me. You know, any day you get up is a lovely day, right? Just one look at you, and the world's alright with me. Oh, just one look at you, and I know it's gonna be a lovely, lovely day, lovely day, lovely day, a lovely day, lovely day. A lovely, lovely day, lovely day, lovely day, a lovely day, lovely day. So I'm just thinking, you know what? My mom always used to say necessity is the mother of invention. Oh, I love that I inspired you. Oh my God, I love that. You inspire me all the time. And by the way, thanks Tom for helping us out. I appreciate it. So I'm just realizing that, you know, I've been thinking about doing a podcast, and maybe that's what needs to happen since, you know, we can't do it here. So, all of you techies out there, let's really think about this and talk. Okay, Robert, I know you know I'm talking to you. You know, there's those of us that blow up tech, and then there's Robert. Okay, let's see. Okay, all right, let me see it. Let's see. I love that your listeners are just rolling with what, you know what? Because I love these people, man. Listen, well, you know, Derek, you gotta improvise, right? I mean, I think that's the biggest thing in art, for sure. And you change, right? And it's so funny. There's this new thing on, it's called Zuno. Hi, Eileen, how you doing? Hey, David, if you're there. There's this new thing where you can sort of, it's like a chat GPT type of thing for music. Right. A little bit of knowledge in hands that don't really know what they're doing is dangerous, right? I mean, like, you put your thoughts in, sort of like chat GPT, right? And then it generates your sound, your music, right? And I just don't know. I mean, we've had auto-tune for a long time, so there is this sort of chat GPT thing that's been happening to musicians for a long time. Just like graphic arts, right? Have been happening to fine artists for a long time as well. So, what about the human part of it, right? So at the event over the weekend, which was fabulous, by the way, the event guy came up to me afterwards and he was holding back tears. And he was like, that song you did is in my top 5 songs. And it was just so emotional for him. And I was like, you know what? Because music takes us to a place where we might not get to by ourselves. Just like art does. Like when you go see a beautiful painting or installation. Okay, so he said that the unknown was scary. He didn't know them and had never worked with anyone at that studio, but I'm so glad that I said, yeah, listen, saying yes to things, right? And, I had to call my friend Bill Tolles the other day because, so I know a lot of you know the story, but some of you might not. So when I first moved to New York, Bill was like, okay, listen, these are the rules, right? You don't work for free. He's like, that's really the rule. You don't work for free. And, maybe a couple years in, I was working and trying to figure things out and doing things. And then, Jacqueline, I would love to, yes, we need to continue. I feel like we were on our way and then things just, got crazy. Anyway, so I moved to New York and my friend, okay, so I'll just go back a little bit further. I met this dude in a hotel lobby in Vienna. Right. And I don't mean Vienna, Virginia. I mean Vienna. And I was like, who is that? Like, he just seemed to have such a command of the room. And of course, I was on a tour with Jerry Allen at the time. And she was like, oh yeah, that's Bill Tolles. And I was like, okay. And so she introduced us. And he was like, well, if you're ever in New York, look me up. And I was like, I am moving to Jersey. And I will definitely call you. And so I just, hung out with him a lot. And at the time, he was managing Living Color. And he was also managing Michelle and Cello. And so I watched him sort of put these acts together and build these things, right? But so the first rule was, don't do anything for free. And then a couple years later, somebody called me and they were like, hey, we need a lute coach. And I was like, I don't know how to do that. So I called him and he was like, okay, first of all, we never say no. We don't say no. We say yes and then we figure out how to do it. That advice for me was life-changing. I mean, I guess sometimes you have to, sometimes you have to say no to things that I do say, you know what, I do say no to some things that I know are just ridiculous, but in terms of work, you know, I've said yes to cello gigs. Y'all, seriously. And so, you know, fast forward, you know, 30 years, because I can't believe it's, you know, I've been gone from New York for like 10 years, which is crazy. I mean, of course I've been back and forth, but so I had gotten a call from a director that I work with often out here on shows, and he called me to do some of the August Wilson plays, and I was really a little scared and overwhelmed. And the sound designer, Jeff Gardner, so it's Jeff Gardner and Glenn Daniels is the director. And the sound director was like, no, you got this. He's like, let me send you some clips. He sent me clips. I'm like, okay, I can do this. And so even fast forward than that, so this last play, well, the one before that, okay, I know my stories are always crazy and discombobulated. I did Top Dog, Underdog with the two of them. And one of the young men needed to learn how to play guitar. And I was like, I can coach him to play blues guitar. Right. And then I enrolled him, Brandon, in my vision as well. And I was like, listen, we can do this. You and I, we can figure this out. And I want y'all to know that this boy said yes. And this young man said, yes, I can do this. And he took that guitar, and within a couple of weeks, he was on stage playing guitar and singing, right? Beautifully. I mean, just, I was blown away. So in Top Dog, Underdog, there are it's two brothers, and it's all about their relationship. So the other brother, who I also met, who is also named Brandon, who also went to Juilliard, they were both Juilliard trained. They're fabulous. So the second Brandon is playing the lead in this new show that I'm doing. And he had gotten an audition for the same show, Joe Turner's Come and Gone, on Broadway. And he said he was sitting there trying to figure out how he was going to learn to play guitar. He said, I said yes to the audition, and they were like, okay, you got a week to get it together. He's like, I don't play guitar. I can sing, but I don't play guitar. And then I got called to do the show, to musical direct. And so we were meeting, and he said, listen, I'm not playing in the show, but I feel like because I'm a guitar, like the character is actually a guitar player, I should be playing in the show. So once again, he was like, yeah, but I got this audition that I have to have in by Tuesday. Now, mind you, it was Tuesday the week before. He literally had a week. He literally had a week. And he did the same thing as the other Brandon. And he sent me his audition tape. And I'm like, if they don't hire you, they're insane. Like, I love that sort of courage, guts. I don't know what you call it. Drive, foolishness. Because sometimes, you know, in my brain, I think I told you all this story about when I took this cello gig in Palm Springs, and it was for the Dinah Shore weekend, and I thought Dinah Shore, you know, I knew she had like the golf thing. I had no idea. So I took this gig. I had been playing cello for a couple of months, and somebody called, and they were like, we need a black woman in a ball gown to play cello out by the pool. And I was like, I got a ball gown and a cello. And then, so then she calls me back and she's like, do you have a problem with lesbians? I was like, do they pay on time? Because no, I have no issues at all. So what I didn't understand was like, this whole weekend, I had no idea. So it was really kind of hilarious. And I called my best friend. I was like, hey, girl, you want to go to this thing with me? Like, let's just go. She was working in Northern California, and her purse got stolen, so she couldn't get on the plane. So I took my mother. And for those of you who know my mother, she's special. She's very, oh my God, the crowd it was crazy. But, so my mother was like, no, I'll sit in the car. And I was like, you will not sit in the car. Like, we drove to Palm Springs early on Sunday. It was this beautiful day. I had on my ball gown. I was totally looking the part, legit, right? Anyway, so, we're sitting out there, and my mom is, I was like, you are coming inside. So she goes inside, and she's all, she's a little paranoid at first, and then she's like, man, these are the nicest ladies ever. I'm like, yeah, they're great, right? So we're having a great time. You know what? If I had known back then, I would have called you, Terry. I totally would have called you. Anyway, y'all, I played my set, because I had to play like 2 sets. So I played my first set, and my mother is sitting there with me, and she goes, when are you going to play your good song? Right. When are you going to play your good song? I was like, Mom, that was my good song. She was like, you are terrible. You need to practice. Like, this is not representative of, no, there was not an animal in this story, Eric. No, I had to play this gig, and I took my mother with me, and I had just started learning to play cello, like, really, and I was playing, and I took my mother, and she goes, huh. No, she said it. And for those of you who know my mother, she said it just like that. She said, huh, when are you going to play your good song? Anyway, yeah, so I had another set. I mean, I wasn't completely demolished. Yeah, because the songs were so terrible. She was like, you're terrible. Just, please don't. You're almost embarrassing me. Meanwhile, one of the ladies comes up and she's like, hey, we love you. Are you going to be available for next year? And I looked at my mom and I was like, eh. She's like, well, you need to practice. Please don't show up like this next year. And of course, the following year, like, I had been playing for a year, so I was a lot better. But, and people, right, see, Robert knows. Listen, my mother, my God, like, I had the absolute, hey, Romeo, I had the best parents for what I needed to accomplish in this life, because my father was like, wait, you're getting on stage in a potato sack? Okay, what time? I'll be there. My mother was like, I will drive you to dance lessons. I will pay you for piano lessons as long as you're doing what I need you to do. But please don't embarrass me. Please don't embarrass me. And she would be like, your voice is terrible. Please, okay, that's enough singing today. I've had enough. I can't listen to this anymore. Like, she was like that. And so, like, when I had any critics, I'd be like, are you kidding me? This is all you got? Like, I can call my mother for worse than this. I mean, seriously. But I think what I realized about my mother later in life, certainly, because I overheard her talking to a friend, and she had told her friend, how proud she was of me for just always hearing my own voice and following my own journey, no matter what anybody said. And she said, I was always afraid for you. I didn't want anybody to hurt you, and I was like, what? You were scared for me? Like, so you were over there holding my fear while I'm out flying by the seat of my pants. And maybe you could have told me that, I don't know, 30 years ago, like maybe you could have said something. But, I don't know, I think just being allowed to know that before she passed. And she didn't say it to me, but she said it where she knew I would hear her. And for me, that was really, really helpful. And she's right. Like, I didn't care what anybody thought. I really didn't. And, you know, Robert, you were around when I was, like, trying to figure my stuff out, like, 7th and 8th grade, when I was like, you know what? I'm just going to sing. I don't sing like Aretha Franklin. Most people don't. And it's okay. You know, and of course, I was listening to Phoebe Snow and Roberta Flack and Joni Mitchell, Stevie Wonder, you know, like all of these really extraordinarily different voices, but still beautiful, right? And I think I did, you know, often think in my head, well, maybe I can't sing. And then I was hanging out with this guitar player, and he was like, oh, no. He's like, no, you can sing, and you should. And so he accompanied me, and then I went to Fisk and became a Jubilee singer. And, you know, I didn't have the classically trained voice, but I could certainly sing a harmony. So I got to do that. You know, I never sang solo, but it was fine. Like, I loved it so much. And then when I got to Howard, I sang in the gospel choir, which was also really a gift for me. But, you know, people often, this woman at work today showed me her daughter singing, and we've been talking about her daughter singing for a while. And it was just, it's stunning. I mean, I think you know, right? Even when kids are little, you know. And she's like, that's all she wants to do. Listen, my mother was something else. Like, I aspire to her greatness and her bravery, because, you know, she's so funny. Like, she was like, well, I was always afraid of everything. And I'm like, ma'am, seriously? Like, you managed Jim Crow, Mississippi. Like, please don't talk to me about being afraid of things and moving to California, you know, and dealing with redlining and buying a home where you wanted to buy a home and figuring out a way to do that, and being married and raising kids and working full time and getting us to all of our appointments and overscheduling, right? Because Moran and I played soccer. We both did dance, which he hates. And then, you know, we both played music. And then he did football later on, I mean, after I had gone. But it was just, we were overscheduled, and we were exposed to everything, and my parents traveled with us. And, you know, it's funny because my mother and I we were always button heads. My dad and I were just alike, and my mother would say, you're just like your father, and I'd be like, thank you, which, you know, would send her right through because my mother wanted somebody who was gonna be normal, you know, and have a home like hers, and have babies, and a wonderful husband, and all of these things. And I wanted those things, still, you know, want some of those things. And, you know, luckily I did get to raise my nieces, which has been amazing. But, I mean, it's kind of hard to find anybody as great as my dad, as y'all know. So, but anyway, you know, life has certainly been interesting in life. Okay, Robert, that's hilarious. Yeah, my mother, I mean, I can just imagine, and my mother knew very early that she didn't get what she thought she was going to get. She was like, "What? I don't understand this. This, I don't understand. Like, I don't know what I'm supposed to do with this." And I told her at one time, I said, you know, back when I had a filter, and she said, oh, no, let me stop you. You have never had a filter, and whatever came up, came out. But, I mean, I was definitely afraid of my mother. I mean, she was a force. She was a force. And she was a force. I mean, y'all just said you were afraid of her too, Robert, Terry, you knew. My mother she was scary, but she was just, like, looking back, I'm like, okay, I get it. That's the parent that I needed. It balanced out by my dad, who was just very gentle. Like, you know, when I would get in trouble, I'd be like, oh God, please let mom spank me, because having to listen to dad guilt me about how he's taught me to be a better human than this is not it. This is not it. This is not it. Okay, y'all, I can't believe I've been talking to you for this long. And I'm so sad that Derek and I haven't gotten to do this. But we shall. I will figure this out. Jacqueline, definitely, we're well overdue for another conversation anyway. So, yeah. And I'm going to be out next week. But I'm going to leave you all some stuff to watch. Not to worry. And, yeah, and we'll get back to Derek, because his story is so important, and his humanity. He's just a beautiful human. I mean, in my life, I've been so blessed to know so many of you. And some of you I don't even know, and I've never seen you in person. Like Millie, we have 2 minutes. She's like, it's 5:58, let's go. Some of you I have never seen in person, but just know that you inspire me, and I think about you, and I pray for you, and I'm so grateful to have community with you, because in this world that we're in right now, community is so important. It's so important, because I think so many of us feel like we are by ourselves. Derek, you might just have to come here in the next couple of weeks. Oh my God, listen. Y'all need to know him. Like, he's this beautiful light, right? And I mean, like I said, we met through a mutual friend, and I probably talked to Derek way more than I talked to our mutual friend now, because we just hit it off immediately. But I'm so grateful. I'm so grateful to be here and be in this moment, with y'all, knowing that we chose at some point to be here together. We made a choice to make this world better and to stand here with each other. I love the fact that y'all talk to each other and do things with each other outside of me. And I love that I could bring us all together during a time when we were so afraid and scared and angry and pissed off and all of the things, right? It has been an honor to be here. You know, I mean, at first it was every night. Still can't believe we were doing 5 nights a week, which is just crazy. But, you know, hopefully we won't ever have to go back to that, although the way things are looking, we might. But I'm going to figure it out. Erica's my dog. She's ready to go out. Like, I can't say the OUTSIDE word or her name or really acknowledge her, because she will start acting a fool and she will start whining. And it is now 6 o'clock. So she's like, I know it's 6 o'clock. I know what the deal is. I know what we do at 6 o'clock after your show. So, thanks for coming out. Thanks for hanging out with me. Listen, and you know, I am actually open to whatever, like if y'all, I always feel like I'm talking too much. And you know, my mom used to say, nobody's interested in that. So I'm a little paranoid about talking too much. But listen. Hi, Zena. How's it going? Okay, Zena is my new friend. I went to go sing. I got to go and sing with this beautiful, beautiful friend of mine's mama. And Zena was there, and she sang, and we all sang, and it was beautiful. Anyway, I love y'all. I will figure out the technical side of this and make it happen with Mr. Derek. But in the meantime, please go and check out his page. Support him if you can. It's absolutely beautiful. All right, I love y'all. Thank you for being you, and thank you for showing up. And I'm inspired, and we're going to figure this out. All right? Millie. She's ready. All right, I'll see y'all later. I will see you tomorrow. Okay.